Eddie Murphy was born on April 3rd, 1961, in Brooklyn, New York, into a working-class family where creativity and resilience were part of daily life. His father, Charles Murphy, worked as a traffic officer but also performed comedy in local venues, unknowingly planting the first seeds of Eddie's future path. Tragedy struck early when Eddie was just 8 years old, as his father passed away, leaving a gap of guidance and stability that would shape his childhood in quiet ways. Though the loss was profound, Eddie carried it with him, learning early how to navigate the world with both humor and adaptability. Life after loss. Following his father's passing, Eddie's mother, Lillian, faced her own challenges, and for a period, Eddie spent time in foster care alongside his older brother, Charlie. The experience of being separated from home taught him lessons in observation, patience, and the importance of finding comfort wherever possible. In those moments, humor became more than entertainment. It became a tool for resilience, a way to connect, to survive, and to maintain a sense of control in a world that often felt uncertain. Humor as a lifeline. Even as a child, Eddie had a natural ability to mimic voices, cartoons, and characters. These impressions were never performed solely for applause. They were a means of expression and connection. Making his brother laugh was a small triumph, a reassurance that joy could exist even in difficult circumstances. Over time, that instinct became a calling, transforming from personal survival into a skill that would define his life. Humor, for Eddie, was a bridge between inner struggle and outward connection, family and stability. When Eddie's mother recovered and remarried, the family relocated to Long Island, providing more stability and a modest home. Though his early experiences of loss and change continued to inform him, Eddie now had a consistent environment to explore his gifts. The young boy who had used laughter as protection began to recognize it as a talent, a way to create joy and inspire others. The lessons of his early childhood, the necessity of observation, patience, and empathy remained quietly at the core of his personality. School days and dreams. At school, Eddie became known as the student who could make anyone laugh, using mimicry and timing to charm his classmates. While peers saw him as the class clown, Eddie was already imagining a future where performance was not only possible but essential. Humor was both shield and pathway. It allowed him to connect while nurturing ambitions that would eventually carry him to stages far beyond his neighborhood. Even then, he understood that talent alone would not be enough, and he nurtured discipline alongside creativity. Early performances. Eddie's first performances occurred in community centers and small clubs around New York. At 15, stepping onto a stage for the first time was intimidating, but the laughter he received confirmed that he belonged there. He traveled the city by subway, balancing school with late-night shows, honing timing and presence while learning the demands of performance. Each show became a lesson in focus, resilience, and audience connection. Failure was frequent, but it strengthened his craft, and persistence became as essential as talent. Persistence and recognition. The path to recognition was gradual, requiring Eddie to prove himself repeatedly. Comedy clubs became classrooms, criticism became fuel, and every small stage reinforced his commitment. Audiences began to take notice, and word spread of a young performer whose energy and skill were impossible to ignore. His instinct for timing, combined with fearless creativity, set him apart even before fame arrived. Saturday Night Live. Eddie Murphy's breakthrough came when he joined Saturday Night Live as a teenager. Initially given a smaller role, he seized every opportunity to leave a mark. His characters resonated because they were both funny and rooted in cultural awareness, blending satire, physical comedy, and warmth. Audiences and colleagues quickly recognized his talent, and he became the heart of the show, demonstrating the ability to elevate those around him while defining his own presence. Hollywood stardom film opportunities followed quickly. Eddie Murphy's early movies confirmed what television audiences had seen. He could command attention effortlessly, Each performance showcased charm, energy, and a unique ability to connect with viewers. Success came with challenges, however, as the expectation to be consistently innovative grew heavier with every role. Hollywood demanded a steady output of humor and charisma, and Eddie met the challenge with dedication, patience, and skill. The weight of fame. As his career soared, Eddie became one of the most recognizable faces in entertainment. The joy he brought audiences was immense, but fame also required constant attention and effort. His early adulthood, often consumed by work, left less room for ordinary experiences, and he had to navigate public scrutiny alongside professional demands. The spotlight could be exhilarating but also exhausting, requiring him to balance performance with personal well-being, a challenge he managed with increasing awareness over time. Family and fatherhood. Eddie's marriage to Nicole Mitchell in the early 1990s brought a different dimension to his life. Together, they welcomed 5 children, and Eddie often describes fatherhood as his proudest role. Parenthood offered both grounding and purpose, shaping the choices he made in his career and his personal life. Even as his professional image remained larger than life, family became a steady anchor, a space where he could nurture, reflect, and experience joy beyond the applause. Navigating private life. Following his divorce, Eddie's personal life became more visible, though he consistently prioritized privacy and balance. Life under public scrutiny highlighted the importance of careful decision-making, and he gradually embraced selectivity in work, relationships, and appearances. In this way, he reclaimed agency over the parts of his life that mattered most, ensuring that attention and expectation did not overshadow his personal priorities. Loss and tribute. Eddie faced profound family losses, including the passing of his brother Charlie Murphy in 2017. Their bond had been creative, emotional, and deeply supportive, and his brother's death reinforced the fragility of life. Naming his son in honor of Charlie reflected a quiet, loving tribute, emphasizing remembrance over spectacle and highlighting Eddie's thoughtful approach to both grief and legacy. Career reflection. Over time, Eddie chose projects more selectively, focusing on opportunities that allowed him to bring depth, intentionality, and experience to his performances. The desire to dominate every screen faded, replaced by a thoughtful approach to craft. His work now reflects a balance between legacy, personal fulfillment, and enjoyment of the process, demonstrating that career longevity is as much about choice as it is about talent. Present-day life. Today, Eddie Murphy is deeply engaged with his children, celebrating milestones, participating in daily routines, and enjoying moments that are often invisible to the public eye. These experiences, ordinary in their simplicity, provide fulfillment that no accolade or paycheck could replace. He has embraced a life of balance, cultivating joy and presence, while remaining mindful of past lessons and personal growth. Legacy and perspective. Eddie Murphy's influence on comedy and film is undeniable, inspiring generations of performers and audiences alike. Yet legacy is more than accolades. It is also the capacity to navigate life with humor, resilience, and empathy. Eddie's story reminds us that greatness and vulnerability coexist, and that personal fulfillment often emerges quietly, away from cameras and headlines. The man beyond the spotlight. When the lights dim, Eddie remains what he has always been, a man of creativity, humor, resilience, and love. Fame has revealed his talent, but it has not defined him. Through decades of performance, personal reflection, and growth, he has built a life rooted in choice, care, and connection. His laughter still fills rooms, now shared not only with fans but also with family, reflecting a success measured in depth rather than just visibility. A life still evolving. At 64, Eddie Murphy's journey continues. He balances family, craft, and quiet reflection with the same energy that first brought him to stages as a teenager. Laughter remains a gift, but so does presence, empathy, and intentional living. His story is not merely one of fame or nostalgia. It is a testament to perseverance, self-awareness, and the ongoing work of shaping a life worth living. Eddie Murphy remains, above all, a man who has learned to carry joy, responsibility, and love together, and to let laughter, both given and shared, define his enduring legacy.